It's called a face mat, not a placemat. Nice, but it's actually a beer mat made by Panadol a few years ago. They gave you a whole bunch of them. Here's some of the other ones. What I like about them is they fit on the nose and make it look very realistic as a face mask, because your nose is coming through and yet it's not your face. Wow, I like it. And they are used as beer mats, and that's the subject of this little video. These are all face mats. Have you ever had teeth like these? Well, wow, there's a bunch of gold. And a couple more. Oops. And going back to a nice, pretty female face. So these are all face masks to use in the pub, but they're also beer mats to be able to put your pints of beer on. Very nice idea. I like them very well. There's a lot of creative thinking gone into these beer mats, but I've also supplemented it with coasters as well, which I'll come on to in a minute. So beer mats first of all. Here, for instance, is a very nice thing which Guinness made a few years ago, where they're what they call rebuses, where they had little puzzles, and the idea is as you're drinking your glass, you're supposed to look at the picture and see what you say. That's what they always say with this. So this one, for instance, is 6 feet underground. That's a well-known expression. They're all well-known expressions. Blood is thicker than water. In for a penny, in for a pound, and so on. A nice little series, and some of them I've sought books of this, or rebuses, and there are several here which I hadn't come across before, so I'm keeping this one. My favourite one is this one here. Can't spell for toffees. 4 spellings of toffee, each of which is wrong, so can't spell 4 toffees. Very clever. But it's a functional beer mat. Why not? Here's something I've had in my collection for many years, and Tobar produced it. It's called a Chewit. And it's a round one, so it's a round Chewit. And the idea is you give it to someone who's supposed to be doing a job for you, and they keep saying yes, putting it off. I can't quite do it. He says, I'll try and get around to it. They say, oh, well, here we are. Here's the round Chewit. And hopefully they'll then respond and produce what they've promised you. Nice idea that. I've got it in the form originally of a large poster, but a round Chewit, but it's a little beer mat. Nice one. And there's the old favourite one, which is the Oloid, as he calls it. These are beer mats, but they've got slits inside them. And so when you put them together, it forms this lovely wobbling creature called the wobbler. I made up my own version just using elliptical beer mats, because of course beer mats come in rounds and ellipses and square ones I've seen as well. So making the slits just the right amount, pi times whatever it is, and that wobbles across the table. Lovely. Take them apart, and you still haven't lost their functionality as beer mats, and that's the bit I like about having more than one function. Here's a simple one which Jumbo, who I meet every year at Nuremberg, produced a few years ago. Want to play, it says. It's a beer mat with a simple little, what do they call it, tic-tac-toe, or noughts and crosses, and you can write in it. I think you can probably rub it out. It's as a material which won't hold the pencil marks, and you can have another little game with it as you're playing. I like that. And another company I've known for many years made a delightful beer mat in which they made what they call a flip-flop thing. You probably recognise these things are quite well known, but to make it as a beer mat was, to me, a very original idea. I'd never seen that before, and happily put it into my collection. And the last of the beer mats is a collection of, I suppose these are literary ones, something nobody says, but I will, because what I do. So you write a little message in it, following whatever's on the top of the thing, advice you don't need, and so on. You can be quite literary with that and start writing them, but again, they are still functional beer mats. And it reminded me of something which you can try in the bar yourself. It's an old bar trick, a bit like the old coins, where you had to put a beer mat on the side of a table like that, or side of the bar, and as you're hitting it with your fingers, it goes up in the air, and you reach forward and grab it. That's what you've got to do in high speed. It's got to go up in the air and grab it. And if you're getting really good, and you're supposed to be able to make a stack that big, it goes a bit slower when you've got a large bunch, so it's sometimes easier to catch, not always. So you start again. So that's the beer mats, and there's probably another 24 of these. Now, what I would call drink mats, these ones here, are something else. Imagine this is a glass on it, and I've tried this trick many times actually, and we have had this on the website too, on our shop. It's called a clumsy coaster. A nice idea, because this, when it's a little bit cleaner perhaps, looks exactly like a bit of spilled drink. And many a times when they first came out, when I said to the waiter, "Oh, waiter, sorry, I spilled something," he comes over and tries to wipe it off with a cloth, and of course it can't come off because it's plastic. Nice idea from the French, the clumsy coaster. I like that. There's a very exotic one here, which is for heavy drinkers, I suppose. It's a pallet, isn't it, for a forklift truck, and you have a heavy drink on it, and it's for heavy drinkers. Well, I don't know, maybe that's the way I put it, but it's a very substantial coaster for large beer mugs, I suppose you call it. Here's one we've had on our website in the past. I think it's a lovely one. I wish they'd bring it back again. They're called Moray pattern, Moray coasters. Every one of them actually turns round and makes a pattern. So when I bring it up to the camera and turn it round, you get these fantastic Moray patterns appearing. But every one of these is intended to be a coaster for drinking glasses, or for if you've got a tablecloth to stop the drinks from spotting the cloth. Everyone's got a lovely, lovely Moray pattern shape coming out of the artwork, which is delightful. So that was a particularly nice set to get. I was very pleased to have those. Another one I've got very recently is a very exotic one here. These are the 3 basic colours to make up colour printing, but you have to have black as well. And it's a famous picture of the girl with a pearl earring by Vermeer. And when you put them in the right order, I think it does affect the colour, the eventual colour, very slightly if you put them in a different order. But hold it up to something light like my jacket, and there's a famous picture by Vermeer. Now, as I take away the pieces, she's lost a bit of the yellow now, and I take out the next one, and there's no red now, just black and blue, and finally just a black bit. But assemble them, and they produce this beautiful effect of the girl with the pearl earring, and they are coasters, they're drink coasters. That's the best part of it. Every one of them retains its functionality as a drink coaster. The last one, which is my favourite, I think, this one is far too good to be throwing away. It comes in a proper box like this. It comes with something I'll tell you about in a minute. Let me just see it's working. Oops, there's it. Yes, there we are. So my favourite drink, I have to say, is a light ale. And this particular one is a Heineken, but never mind. I don't drink on duty, but this is the end of the little video, so let's put on some drink, see what happens. Oh, do you see the light at the bottom? Look. I've got to put my finger on it. It lights up at the bottom. So this gives a new meaning to the term light ale. Cheers.